Everybody, I hope you're having a brilliant day. Today we're taking a look at the easiest strategy I think that you can use to get guaranteed 24 to 27,000 capital peak points every single raid weekend. Now what am I talking about? I'm talking about hitting Builder's Workshop 2 times on 3 separate raids. So this does assume that your clan can clear at least 2 raids, but if you're able to 2-shot the Builder's Workshop, should speed things along. Now how are we doing this? We are using my favorite strategy to use on this base, which is the ground spam strategy. 8 giants, 8 super wizards, 2 hog riders, usually 10 rams, otherwise 9 rams and a barbarian or 2. Mixed with 3 of the graveyard spells, and you are cooking. So where do you place the graveyard spells? You place them always over and behind, very important, behind giant cannons. You put the graveyard spells behind them so that as the skeletons spawn, the giant cannons have to turn and rotate side to side. Sometimes they'll shoot to the side, sometimes they'll shoot completely behind them. Now the goal is to create 2 packs of troops to go through the base. You usually don't want to group them all up together, because if the super wizards all converge, and a couple, even just a couple of the giant cannons, or a few of the multi-mortars, if they hit, it'll wipe out the whole group of super wizards, which is no good. The name of the game is protecting the super wizards at all cost. So now we drop the remainder graveyard spells over the splash targeting defenses. We are coming in from the left-hand side. If you notice, I've deployed a larger group at first, and then I'm waiting to deploy the second group so I can start to spread them out up top. I'm not too certain where this giant cannon is going to shoot. I'm not certain where this giant cannon is going to shoot. So that's also where we bring in the 2 packs of hog gliders, so that if you are able to directly target the giant cannon, you can stun them, and usually just that brief moment where you stun them and then they have to retarget is enough to spare your super wizards a lot of damage. So as we get closer and closer, you can see there's no more splash defenses left, so it's just a matter of cleanup, and we have so many giants still alive. So what I also like about this strategy is that if you do it correctly, you'll have a lot of troops left over, and you can get quite a bit of bonus points or gold, whichever you want to call them. We'll take a look at another Builder's Workshop and see that it is not just a fluke, and that you can pretty much guarantee these results every single time. For whatever reason, a lot of clans use the basic layout of the Builder's Workshop. So what I recommend is starting from the bottom left side for the deployment, using a couple troops to clear out the defenses. Ideally have them path downward to this left hand side of the base. Use 1 graveyard spell behind this giant cannon at the bottom, and then 2 graveyard spells directly over the blast bow, maybe even a little bit to the top left side of it. Doing that ensures that all of the skeletons that spawn from the graveyards actually take out the blast bow entirely. And sometimes, if all of these skeletons group up together and they bust through a wall pretty quickly, usually the top wall, like they somewhat did there, they are able to avoid that bomb, and with the shield, I mean, 2 shots take out those skeletons, but when you have like 50 skeletons, those single target defenses stand no chance at all. So sometimes the skeletons can take out this whole section on their own. So it's just a matter of something we did 1 pack of the hogs to take out the cannon. Most of the other troops, they'll target these trash buildings on the side, and then it's just a matter of trying to get as close to this back end cannon as possible. Sometimes bases don't even have this portion of the base upgraded, in which case they all kind of converge and they try and meet up on this back end, or this top end section of the base. So, got pretty close. Got about half the base taken out, which is perfect. So now we're going to use the other graveyards over the remaining giant cannons, and we're placing them on top of them, but slightly behind, so that as our troops approach, sometimes the giant cannons will shoot left, right, behind, and so on. You get the idea. So we did a small group on this left-hand side, not too worried about them. Now we're focusing on this top cannon, and we're trying to spread out our troops, because this cannon in particular, a lot of the troops will pile in together, or at least into the same line as they approach it. So it's very good to spread out the troops if possible. Now it's just a matter of trying to distract this last cannon. That's where, one cannon was on the side, shoots to behind, or to the side. Another was behind it. We're able to just swarm the whole base. We've got, 2, 4, 6, 7 giants still alive. Got, I think 6 or 7 of the wizards still alive. So we got 171 bonus capital peak points. And last but not least, you guessed it, another Builder's Workshop. Definitely my favorite base 2-hit. Technically my favorite is the Barbarian Camp, because it's kind of a little tricky. So the 2 shots are a little bit more impressive, but this is by far, I think, the easiest, most consistent way to lock in your points for the raid weekend. Essentially, if you were kind of new to 2-shotting bases and being a little bit more strategic, even though this is a ground spam strategy, I would start with the Wizard Valley. It's typically the easiest to 2-shot. I would then start to look at the Builder's Workshop. Once you sort of learn how the graveyard spell works, it becomes pretty easy, knowing where to drop them, where to plan, how to position. And then from here, probably 2-shotting the Skeleton Park would be the next goal. Essentially, if the Builder's Workshop is worth more, or if the Skeleton Park is worth more in your current raid, I would go for that one and try to 2-shot it. Then once you're really comfortable with that, there is the air version of the spam strategy, which works really well for Barbarian Camps. Because trying to 2-shot a Barbarian Camp with ground is a really bad idea. Just a fair warning. But here, all we did was place some graveyard spells over the splash targeting defenses, clear out the left-hand side of the base. We're now able to place the remainder of the graveyards pretty much wherever, because this giant cannon is directly targetable by the hogs, so that we'll just stun that one, no problem. So here we just sort of fan out the troops in an arc fashion. A line of giants, line of super wizards, and then sprinkle in the rams. And then we get a bunch of skeletons coming in. Look that we have 4 of the graveyards right there. Or no, 5. Then 1 down south. So now as the giants get closer, not too worried about the giants soaking up the hits from the giant cannon. So we stun it. After the first shot goes off, then is able to retarget. And easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Even get a bonus 97 points. So I hope this video is helpful. Hopefully you can now 2-shot the Builder's Workshop. I also have some other videos about 2-shotting Builder's Workshops if you're interested. And if you like the video, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Helps me out a bunch. I really appreciate it. And until next time, take care.